part of the same group that I am now. And so it
Awesome.
wouldn't be a bad thing.
Very cool.
Yeah, I would be open to a interracial relationship. Never had anything like that, but I mean, I don't really feel like that would change my view of a person. So yeah, I'd be open to that.
So
I guess so, because they lived in 1950s and 1970s and 80s. It's just like they haven't seen this kind of phenomenon that time. I guess that's very rare at the time, so I think that's just like they are kind of like new to this kind of phenomenon, so they're afraid that their child goes something weird or like, you know, insane. Not insane, but they think they will lose the identity, but I don't think my parents would say that.
At this point, I don't think they would mind, but later on in my life, I don't think they'd be too happy about it. Especially my mom, you know, she wants me to marry a nice Jewish gal. But for sure, I don't think they'd be too happy. I think sort of cultural beliefs have shifted generationally to a certain extent, but in terms of my parents, I think they're a little more traditional.
Yeah, they definitely felt differently. I think they were more conservative, and they would probably stick to their own race. I would say that their mindset has changed, and so I don't think that they would care very much, I guess.
It's funny to think about that, because they would, you know, they'd be very nice and they would be supportive of me, I'm sure. But then, yeah, I know that behind closed doors, you know, they'd be like, Brendan, what's up with that? That's weird. And I'd be like, oh, yeah, it's not weird. They'd be like, well.
You think that they would be accepting, but they would question it, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it'd be a little strange for them, but they would ultimately realize that it's fine.
Very cool. Well, do you have any last thoughts on Asian-Caucasian relationships on Northwestern's campus in particular, or in your life that you'd like to comment on?
I would love to see more of it going on. I think a lot of Asian women are intimidated to join the white-dominated social scene, and really, you know, they don't have to be. They'll find out that white people are pretty nice for the most part, despite the years of atrocities we've committed on the entire planet. So that's all.
All right, thanks for talking with us, Brendan.
You're very welcome.
My parents are actually open to anything, since they're like, as long as you get married, we're happy.
I think they wouldn't feel too iffed if I took an interracial relationship, as long as they, I mean, they might be a little bit restricting on what race they might be looking forward to, but I mean, if I was to take, say, choose, say, like a Korean American woman and like a white woman, they might be a little bit more inclined towards the Korean American woman, but they wouldn't be too iffed about the fact that I might be choosing a white woman.
With an Asian American, I have not.
If you were, how do you think your parents would feel about that?
I've been in interracial relationships in the past.
But specifically with Asian Americans?
And I think I think that my parents, because I am ethnically Jewish, I guess, so my parents' main concern is the fact that I would be with a Jew. If it happened to be an Asian Jew, I think they'd be fine with it. If it happened to be a non-Asian, an Asian that was not Jewish, which I think is more likely the case with an Asian American, because I don't know too many Asian Jewish people, they'd be kind of upset with it. But I think the main concern to my parents isn't actually anything about race, because I think if I married a black Jew, they'd be fine with that, a Moroccan Jew, whatever have you. But I think that the matter that they would be more likely to be Christian or Buddhist or whatever religion they would be not Jewish would be the issue.
Thank you.
No problem.
Personally, I don't think that my parents do. I see that, I think I probably know some parents who may feel differently on that, but I think my parents and I have pretty similar views on that subject.
So my parents got married in the 70s, I think. Late 70s. So anyway, they did something that was pretty, honestly, it wasn't done that often. My mom came over from Korea for her doctorate, and my dad was at medical school, so they met at Case Western Reserve in Ohio. And I don't really know how they met, actually. I think they were in the same class, something like that. And I don't know, like, neither sides of the families really had like problems with it, but I don't know, like, obviously they probably would have preferred if they had just stayed, my mom had married a Korean guy and that my dad had married, a white woman or whatever. So both of my parents are very, very liberal about marriage and like choosing a mate, and in terms of relationships in general, they're very open to like even like gay and bisexual. Like, they've always told me that like I can be totally true to myself and it doesn't matter. They're okay with any race. Like, I can date whoever I want. It's really not an issue at all. Clearly, because they did the same thing.
I think some people tend to look at interracial couples differently. On the other hand, a lot of people don't. But yeah, I think in some cases.
I think, interracial couples stand out a bit. I wouldn't go so... Well, they are looked at differently in my opinion, but I don't think they'd be taken so far as to be treated differently. At least not on a hugely noticeable scale.
In today's society, I wouldn't say that it would be as big of a deal as it was in the past.
Look at President Obama. Who is he? Oh my god, come on. Well, I don't think America is kind of like over that boundary right now, so... I think the American society is overcoming that barrier right now, and I think it's in the stage, so I don't think that will be much a problem.